After reading this issue, I'm convinced Skybound is making the Quintessons, the creator of the Transformers, just like in the G1 cartoon series. What's up, Beyonders? James here, and we are back with Void Rivals. If you need to catch up, the playlist will be in a pinned comment below. So, we pick up where we last left off with Solila in her prison cell inspecting the key Mistress Vil gave her. Who suddenly enters the prison cell is Canela, wearing the armor of a blast trooper and carrying an extra set of armor with her. She tells Solila to put it on. As they're going through the corridor, there seems to be some tension between the two. In the last video, Canela revealed to Darak that she knows who Solila is. And later in this issue, she does mention she's known Solila for 5 years. So hopefully we'll see at some point why Canela doesn't trust Solila and who she is. Solila asks what's the plan, and Canela answers she has a blast wing in a hangar waiting for them. To walk like they belong, but should anyone get in their way, to kill them. She follows up by saying, I'm sure you won't have a problem with that. From here, we're going to return for a moment back to Quintessa. The Skuxoid hands over Solila and Darak's shuttle to the Quintessons. I have to say, I love how the Skuxoid has been a hilarious addition to this series. After he hands over the ship, he slowly backs away while saying, that's the end of the bargain, so I'm just gonna head out of here, alright? Now this is where it gets exciting, check this out. After inspecting the ship, the Quintesson judge says, so she succeeded all those eons ago. Zertonia is real. Who the judge is most likely referring to is the goddess Zerta. It has to be. He orders the ship to be taken to a lab and for its alloys to be scanned for any trace that could lead them to Zertonia. The judge says to himself, this is but an echo from our deep past, a memory of a rebellious child, something that has plagued us Quintessons too many times. This is a quest that could result in revelations that would shock our civilization to its core. Now there is so much to unpack from that. I think this is a clear indicator that there is a connection between the Quintessons and Zerta. Like maybe Zerta is a creation of the Quintessons. Also, when the judge speaks of rebellious children plaguing them many times before, I believe one of those times they're referring to is the Transformers. I think this because in one of my favorite episodes of the G1 animated series called Forever is a Long Time Coming, the Transformers, led by the Autobot A3, aka Alpha Trion, rebelled and forced the Quintessons, their creators, to flee Cybertron. I mentioned in my issue 4 video of this series that Skybound could be going the route of the Quintessons being the creators of the Transformers and their Energon universe. After this, I'm convinced now more than ever this will be the case. If I had to put a percentage on it though, I'm at like a 60-70%. But if that ends up being the case, the Transformers and Void Rivals origins could be connected through the Quintessons. Back in Zertonia, Canela successfully frees Solila and brings her to Darak and her unifiers. What's funny is Solila is surprised to find out Darak is the one behind her escape, and Darak says, you would have done the same for me. And Solila replies, I would not. Darak is like, well, now that I've done this for you, you will do the same for me if it happens. And Solila responds, yeah, probably not. Don't get me wrong, I love Solila, but she can be an a-hole sometimes. Canela reminds Darak she's completed her end of the bargain, and now he has to live up to his. She explains she wants him to deliver a data packet to a contact in Agoria that will help them re-establish a secure link with a faction of Agorian counterparts there. This is quite the reveal here. We thought the Unifiers were just a lone minor Zertonian faction within Zertonia, but now we know their reach is far. They have an Agorian faction as well. They all prepare to leave for the hangar bay, where Canela has a blast wing ready for Solila and Darak. Solila asks how she arranged for that, and Canela answers, I'm not revealing a thing to you. Just know that our reach is far. That's what happens when you fight for a just cause. Solila replies, a just cause won't feed the starving mouths of Zertonian citizens. Again, this is just further evidence that these two have a history. I think Solila is in the wrong here though, because yes, a just cause won't feed the people, but it will give them hope for a better future. And at least Canela is trying to end this war in order to improve their situation, whereas Solila was working for the government that is just making it worse. And what we're going to see for the rest of this issue is going to show that. From here, we go to a Zertonian soldier reporting to Premier Zalilac, Darak and Solila's escape. To no surprise, he's pissed and orders for them to be found. What I want to point out here is this entire feast Zalilac is gorging on by himself, while the Zertonian people are starving and resources across the board in Zertonia, as we know, are scarce. This confirms for us that Zalilac cares nothing for his people. They're starving, suffering, and dying in this manufactured conflict. Returning to the Unifiers, Darak and Solila, they all venture into the streets of Zertonia, and we finally see for ourselves how bad it is for the people. They're just living in squalor, living on the streets, starving, and where they live isn't well kept. Darak is shocked to see this and says there's nothing like this in Agoria. And Solila replies, "This is what I was fighting to stop every time I turned on you." Unbeknownst to them and the Unifiers, they've all walked right into a trap. Canela asks how. The young boy Ultim reveals he set them up because Zertonian guards promised to help him find his mother if he lured them here. Solila turns to Canela and says, "I will deliver the data packet to the Agorians. Just make sure you don't get caught." At that moment, Solila throws what I'm calling her lightning spear at one of the security drones, and then has her spear knock one of the Zertonian guards off his motorcycle, what they call a slip rider. Darak and Solila steal it and make their escape. One of the things I'm excited to learn about is who Solila is and what's the deal with her spear, because I'm convinced this thing has to be special. It's just so powerful. As she and Darak are being chased by all these security drones, she is just taking out all the drones left and right with her lightning spear. They end up dumping the slip rider and taking this railway car to go north and get away from the security drones Handroid reports are coming from the south. While they ride the railway car, Darak mentions that it is darker here where the people reside, and Solila replies that most resources go to the capital. They ration the energy here to keep the capital running. When I read this, I was just like, wow, even more evidence the Zertonian people are just getting crapped on. Darak suggests they go to the border, and Solila points out it is a quiet area so they can plan their next move there. However, Darak already has a plan. Once they get off the railway car, they're immediately spotted. They make a run for it, and Darak reveals his plan to Solila, which is to run north into the border zone, what they call the wasteland. Solila thinks it's crazy and says there's a reason they won't chase us there. As they cross into it, Darak responds, "This is how we complete our mission. Do you trust me?" Solila replies, "Yes." Back in Zertonia, one of the soldiers reports to Premier Zalilac that Darak and Solila have crossed into the wasteland and are most likely as good as dead because no one has ever survived there. However, Zalilac isn't so arrogant to believe that though. He explains they escaped death already and found their way home, yet we still made the mistake of underestimating them, and now they escaped our grasp. He says we need a hunter who will track them down and ensure their demise, and I know one who will. When the soldier here responds, "No, you can't mean him," Zalilac slams his fist and replies, "We have no choice. We must prevent unity no matter the cost. That's our sacred charge to avert the coming of Goliant. Zerta, help me. We must revive Proximus." Now, one of you commented that there might be a good reason why the Agorians and Zertonians can't be unified again. Now we know that it would cause the coming of Goliant. Shout out to Revenge8621 who theorized this. When it comes to who Proximus is, we'll most likely find out in the next issue since he's on the cover and he looks dangerous. Unfortunately, Void Rivals is going on a hiatus. We won't get the next issue of it until March of next year. In the meantime though, if you want to keep up with the Energon universe, make sure you check out all the Transformers videos that are out. I have them in a pinned comment below. Be on the lookout for the new issue of Duke and Cobra Commander. Other than that, this is the end of Void Rivals' first arc. I hope you all enjoyed this series. Hit that like button, comment below your thoughts, and subscribe if you want to join the Beyonders. Other than that, have an awesome day, and always remember every day to transform and go beyond. Hey, if you want to join the upper echelons of the Beyonders, where you'll receive an array of member-only benefits, consider becoming a Beyonder Knight by becoming a YouTube channel member or by joining the Patreon like Patreon members Justin Heverly, Ray Dude, and Drag Logia 5. A massive thank you to you all. Links in the pinned comment below. See you later, Beyonders.